Tuesday. Happy Tribe Day to all of those in my life right now that are really supporting, uplifting, and encouraging me every single day. You know who you are, but I can say a few names if you like. How about Ann, Lita, um, Ashland, Amanda, Angie, just to name a few. But ladies, you really help me. You encourage me. You uplift me. You support me, and I really truly appreciate it. Today, I wanted to come to you about now that you know what triggers are, how can you manage your responses? And I'm going to give you 5 ways to manage your triggers. Hi, my name is Leslie Gaudette. I am an empowerment coach. I help my clients get a handle on their mental clutter so that they're freed up to pursue their dreams and aspirations and turn their visions for their lives into the realities. Before I get started, I'm going to open up the blinds a little bit, maybe get a little bit more light in here. Having a little bit of trouble with my lighting, so I apologize. Maybe that's too crazy. So apologize, guys, in advance. Trying to get my lighting correct, but that's life, right? Nothing that you can do about that. You just have to go with the flow. So again, I wanted to say my name is Leslie Gaudette. I am an empowerment coach. I help my clients get a handle on their mental clutter so they're freed up to pursue their dreams and aspirations and turn their visions for their lives into the realities. Let's talk about triggers and how you can manage your triggers. So we found out yesterday a few of our triggers are like maybe the anniversary dates around loss or trauma, like around a time or event. It could be like family turmoil. It could also be like you're overwhelmed with a lot. Maybe you're spending way too much time alone, so you feel isolated. Financial problems, and maybe even the end of a relationship. So how do you manage your emotions? Because your emotions actually, once you get triggered, guess what happens? Your feelings, they get involved. Yeah. And once the feelings get involved, sometimes you just can't get out of it, right? You feel like, you feel like you're going crazy and all of these feelings are happening, and it's all based around this stupid trigger, this stupid thing that happened to you that just got you right back to something, took you right to that place. So now that you know what your triggers are, how do you manage? How can you manage your responses? Well, first step is number 1, accept responsibility. Yep, you're going to have to take responsibility. You're going to have to lose the victim mentality. Yes, I know you want people to feel sorry for you that you're going through something, but just lose the victim mentality. When you accept responsibility, it opens you up and you give yourself more freedom to seek out and identify what is actually triggering you to feel the way that you do at any given moment. When you start to feel on edge, you have the power to stop your emotions from taking control. And you can feel differently. You can act differently if you are willing and open to do so. By accepting responsibility, you will also have more clarity on how you react and how you and you respond and what you need to do and what you need to ask for to change how you react when triggered. So first step is taking responsibility for your reactions and responses. Ask yourself, what would my life look like if I learned to become self-aware and just stopped in the moment when triggered, took time to reflect on how I'm feeling and adjust so that my reactions and responses to my feelings are not negative and ultimately taking me down a road to guilt, shame, and regret? Wow, we could all just be self-aware just like that and snap in a moment. Some guy cuts you off in traffic. You get super angry, right? Can you flip the switch? Can you stop yourself? Can you become self-aware in that moment? It takes practice, but it can be done. What would that look like for you? What if every thought, every feeling, every reaction was your choice? Guess what? It is. It's all your choice. You just have to want to be that person who's willing to look outside, step outside the box, actually, look back in at what you're doing. Look back in as an outsider looking in and figure out what needs to be changed so that when you are triggered, your reaction and ultimately your response to a feeling is more conducive to the direction that you're trying to steer your life. So if you're trying to be more calm, a more calm person, and getting triggered by someone that cuts you off in traffic, gets you angrily screaming at them and you flip them off, you got to stop yourself in that moment. Because if you want to be more calm, that's not being more calm, is it, right? That's just an example. Number 2, as soon as you start to react, recognize that you're having an emotional reaction. Yes, recognize that you're having an emotional reaction. So according to neuroscientist Antonio Damasio, who's the author of Looking for Spinoza, Joy, Sorrow, and the Feeling Brain, at any moment, your rate of breathing, blood flow, tension in your muscles, and constriction in your gut represents a pattern you can identify as a feeling. The sooner you recognize that you are breathing quickly or not at all, that certain muscles in your body tightened, or that you feel pressure in your gut or heart, stop and ask yourself what are you feeling and why? So again, go back to that analogy, getting cut off in traffic. All of a sudden you get super angry. So you can feel it, right? You can feel your emotions start. You can feel the emotions start. You can feel that your feelings are getting involved. Stop yourself. Now here's the thing. I don't want you to judge your feelings. I just want you to be aware of your feelings so that you can adjust how you react and you respond. Number 3, determine what triggered your emotion in the first place, whether it's fear, anxiety, anger. I read in a recent article that the quicker you notice an emotion is triggered, the sooner you can discover if the threat is real or not. So I know it might not make sense in the way it's, like the way they said it, but think about it. As soon as you realize you're starting to have an emotional response, stop yourself and ask yourself, is it really even worth me responding in this way, getting myself all bent out of shape over this thing that's going to go away because as time passes, things dissipate, things calm down? So is it even worth you spending your time, even one moment of your time, with that type of emotion? If you're feeling emotions of fear or anxiety or anger, and that emotion takes you down the road to shutting down, like that's your normal MO, then that's where you start to try and figure out why you're triggered that way. And this can go back to a childhood experience or even, something that happened recently or in the last couple of years. You never know. You never know when something happens to you, how it can affect you later on in life. So I was going to tell you a little bit of a story. Something happened to me years ago. I was witness to somebody getting hurt, and it really triggered a response in me to flee. Well, first of all, I was stunned, stuck in the spot, couldn't really do anything. I couldn't move. And when we got away from that situation, I found myself freaking out. I even can maybe even say I might have felt a little bit of PTSD, because when it would affected me going to work, I really felt like I was being followed. I felt like there were other things at play. And when I ended up moving from that place, I was more calm. I felt like getting away from it was the best thing for me to do. I was so anxious. I didn't feel safe. And so that was something that I had to work through. It was really traumatic, and I had to work through it and get over my fear of placing the location as my trigger for my anxiety to build up and getting all freaked out. So I had to work through that. It took time, and it took a couple of years, believe it or not. It took me a couple of years because I didn't know ways that I could have done it quicker. I didn't face it. So when you get triggered by something, ask yourself, where does that come from? Like, what happened in your life, whether way in your past or not so long ago, that still holds its power over you? Number 4, you have the right to choose what you want to feel. That's right. You have the right to choose. You have the right to choose how you want to react. You have the right to choose how you want to respond. It's up to you. It always has been, and it always will be. But it comes down to choice, right? You either choose to allow the emotion to take you down those roads to where you're just not yourself. You're all, anxious. Your gut is tight. You maybe even get a migraine out of it. Your shoulders, your muscles are clenching, and your heart's racing. Or you can choose to just become aware of it and allow it to dissipate. Say, you know what? I'm not going to allow this emotion to hold power over me anymore. I'm not going to allow it. Which brings me to number 5. Learn to shift your feelings. It's not easy, but it is doable. And it takes work, but you can do it because you are worth it, right? If you really want to do it, you can. Because we can do pretty much anything that we put our minds to, if we want to. And it's all about really wanting to become the person, our best version of ourselves, who we want to be in life. So to go back through the 5 ways you can manage your triggers, going forward, number 1, first thing you do is accept responsibility for what's happening right now. Regardless of why you were triggered or how you were triggered, do not take on the victim mentality. Accept responsibility that you're feeling this way, how you are feeling. And then figure out, why am I feeling this way? It'll give you more clarity on your emotions, because that's really where it's at. Ask yourself what my life would look like if I learned to become self-aware and just was able to stop in the moment when I'm having that emotional reaction, and then, because my feelings are getting involved, and I don't want to go down that negative path. I don't want to go say something that I can't take back, that I'll regret. I'd rather deal with me and why I'm reacting and responding to this feeling that I'm having. And as soon as you start to feel a certain way, recognize that you are having an emotional reaction. The sooner that you recognize, first you take responsibility, then you recognize that you're having an emotional reaction, you can flip that switch. You can choose. Determine, number 3, determine what triggered your emotion, because it could be based around fear, as in it was in my case, or anxiety, or even anger. You could be angry about something that happened and you never really got over it because you never really dealt with it. You have to realize, what is my trigger? Why am I being angered this way over something that may have nothing really to do with something that happened to you years ago, just a small part of it. Maybe it was over being judged or criticized. And so you're quick to, like, a quick temper because something might happen, say at work or with a person that a loved one, even family member. Something gets said and you're triggered. It takes you back to feelings of being judged and criticized, and you react and respond in a way that really you don't want to. But you can't stop yourself because you're not allowing yourself to stop yourself. Because guess what? You do have the right. That's number 4. You do have the right to choose what you want to feel. It is up to you. It always has been, always will be. It won't be up to anyone else. No one can tell you how to feel. No one can help you to change that. Only you can do that. You have to want to change. You have to want to be able to choose what's best, the best way to deal with it within any situation. And last but not least, learning to shift your feelings. I know it's not easy, but you can do it. It takes work, but if you really want something, then you'll find a way. If you really want to start managing your triggers, then you'll find a way to become self-aware. You will do the work to become self-aware. Because what happens when you become self-aware and you learn to manage your triggers? What is the outcome of all of this? Well, number one, you become more grounded when you manage your triggers. You become, just more grounded in who you are. You become more focused and you don't allow distractions of emotions to derail you, to set you off down that negative path. You become a happier human being. And ultimately, because what I want for you out of this is ultimately for you to start living the life you love and start loving the life you live. So I hope that this was helpful for you. If this really resonated with you, maybe you need to go back and just look at some of the ways that you've actually responded to things in your life, and then start asking yourself the questions of why. Why am I allowing myself to be triggered this way, so that my feelings push my reactions and responses down a road to negativity? I start to say things and do things that I don't mean to do, I don't want to do. And then afterwards, I'm feeling guilt and shame and then ultimately regret. If you're able to manage your triggers and you become this person that's more grounded, more focused, happier, and you start living the life you love and loving the life that you're living, can you imagine that life? I want you to close your eyes and imagine what that looks like for you, what that can look like for you. You have the power to do this. You do. Even though you might not think that you do, you do. You have the power. So I know today, now I've given you some ways to manage your triggers. And you'll probably be triggered today. I know I get triggered every day in some way, but it's how do I manage it? Because I'm self-aware. I've learned that by being self-aware and stopping myself in the middle of it, because I know I'm feeling something, my emotions take over, I immediately stop myself so that I can reflect on what it is I'm triggered by, why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, so that I can get out of it. And I can go on with my day in a much more focused and grounded way, so that I'm happier. So I hope that this was helpful for you. If it resonated with you, great. If you have any questions, or if you want to even just let me know how you're feeling, DM me personally or put a note in the chat. Let's get a dialogue going. If you know somebody who needs to hear this today, who could really use this information today, please feel free to share the video. I hope that you have a really good day today. I hope that this has helped you to become more aware of how you are reacting to your triggers, so that your responses can be more healthy rather than taking you down those negative roads. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support. My name is Leslie Godet. I'm an empowerment coach. I help my clients get a handle on their mental clutter so that they're freed up to pursue their dreams and aspirations and turn their visions for their lives into their realities. I hope that you have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.